hour, what my thought was is that you do have some relief and some hope and some, refresh of the tools that maybe you've known from the past, or maybe you needed to know today. So you're in the right place. And you know what? I'm going to give everybody points for being here. Who doesn't like points? I love the points. So lots and lots of points. And it's Sherry and Sam from Broadmind. Broadmind is a company, an organization, a group of wonderful people who bring mental health skills and tools to workplaces. And we get an opportunity to donate our time back to the community. And I get a chance to work with veterans and their families and their communities, because I also am ex-military. I spent some time in the military. And we all get to learn these skills and tools so that we can be more resilient, more able to enjoy this life thing. Sam is here too. Sam is our client care manager. He's amazing. Thank you, Sam. Maybe a little hello or check in from you.
Yeah, for sure. What's up, y'all? So, as she said, my name is Sam. Just want to say thank y'all for spending your time and joining us today. I hope that we can have a great time together. And I'm here in the background always. If you need any questions, any concerns, anything at all, just please feel free to reach out to me. And as I said, once again, thank you for joining us, y'all.
Awesome.
Thank you, Sherry.
Awesome. And Sam put together, with the help of course, our cool research and the methods that we've been using, a self-care journal that we have available as well. So it's for $5. We thought, you know what, you can download a self-care journal so that a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about is embedded in that journal and then some. If you care about the people around you, if you care about living this life thing the best you can, then that means that you got to care about yourself. You deserve care. So here, let's dive in a little bit. I've got, oops, you know what? I have questions for, oh, you know what? Before I do that, actually, I've got a poll. I am going to get over to these polls. Does anyone you've done polls before. We've done Zoom before. So I'm going to ask all of you to just take a moment and select as many as you think are applicable. Which of these would be most helpful today? And I got to tell you, I sort of compiled a bunch of things that I've been hearing from a lot of people. But the idea here is just, yeah, let us know what would be most helpful to focus on today. And if you need music while you do that, I'm not sure, but maybe a little bit of music. My music's not playing, so it was Jeopardy. Da-na-na-na. Na-na-na. It's funny. Spotify not working. Okay, let's take a few more moments. What would be helpful to discuss today? All right, let's close this poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, number one answer for what we want to focus on today, and I am really thankful for this answer, is help with managing emotional ups and downs at work. Yeah, I hear you. And I think what we're talking about is our emotional ups and downs, as well as the emotional ups and downs of the people around us? Question mark. And look, I see some people coming in whom I love. Eva, hello. Stephanie, oh my gosh, we're related. Actually, Eva, we're related too. We've known each other long enough. We're related. So good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Hey, listen, what we're doing is we're just taking a moment to sort of do a little bit of a check-in on ourselves and then ask questions. And maybe together we're coming up with solutions and a path forward so we can all have a little bit of relief and hope and figure out what next steps are. And so I love that we're talking about what could be most helpful is managing emotional ups and downs. Oh yeah, like I feel you there. In the middle of 2025, there's a lot of things that are causing big emotional reactions. not just in our workplaces and in our family lives, but on the global stage. Anyone here watch the news? Yeah, no. The answer is no. Please no. No, thank you. But sometimes you just can't help but get a sense of the different narrative stories and stressors that are going on. So yeah, they impact us. And then number two, I see what would be most helpful to discuss are maybe some quick tools for managing stress. Who here's experiencing some stress? You know, and it's funny too, even, asking that question, do you feel stress? Sometimes adds stress to people's lives. My stress, well, your stress aid, Gideon. Oh, so sweet. That's a good pup.
He brings stress to the life, but it's a nice kind of stress.
Nice. Okay. Good framing. Good framing, Gideon.
Yeah, when the puppy phase is done, I'll be a lot happier. But I'm willing to put up with it, but it is a joy.
It's a joy. I love that you have that joy in your life, Gideon. Yeah, enjoy the ups and downs. All worth it. Our fur babies, they are our furry hearts outside our bodies. Okay, managing emotions, managing stress, and then third, tips for setting boundaries. Okay, let's touch on those. Some quick tips, and a lot of you have tips and tools, so I would love to see some of those tips and tools in the chat. And I'd also love to see some questions, maybe even some anonymous, confidential, but specific examples. Are you hearing Mario music? Oh, are you?
Yeah, I wanted to address that, Sherry. There you go. Thanks.
You're hearing it, I don't hear it. Yeah, that was a test to see if you're interacting. There we go. Well done. Okay, another 10 points for Stephanie and for, yeah, Merry music. Very good. Hey, it's Wednesday. Anything goes. Sam and I, just before we started too, we were like, all right, who's showing up? What are we going to be diving into? How's this going to go? And I think it's Mario music for the win. Yeah. Gideon, motorcycling helps you keep you grounded. I love that too. So without the Mario music playing, another question for you, because you all have tools. You've been on the planet for a while. You've accumulated tools either from, watching other people, from your upbringing, or purposefully because you've known that you needed to add tools to your toolbox. And when I'm talking about tools, I'm talking about how do you manage your day-to-day? How do you deal with stressors? How do you make sure that you are, I'm going to use the word resilient? And so I created another poll. And I think that one is, oh yeah, it's just, if you're able then to just type in short answer, your tools that you use, what's your go-to when you know and you feel that stressor? What's your go-to when you see big emotional reactions from other people that are maybe bothering you, or your own big emotional reaction? Does that show up, Sam? Are you seeing? Yeah, okay, great, got some answers. Okay, here we go. Tools, skills, what you got? And actually, if you aren't typing it in the poll, you can put it in the chat as well. What's helping you in 2025 already? Gideon's got the motorcycling. Love that. I got a few more. Don't make me turn on that Mario music. I will do it. I will do it. And it was interesting too, in selecting these pictures, typically when I think tools, I tend to put a toolbox or, tools like hammer, wrench, screwdriver, etc. But it was interesting when I typed in tools, of course, I got tools for cooking, tools for writing, tools for gardening. And so I think we all come at this with tools that align with our lifestyle. They align with our goals. So they're going to be different, for different people. And Stephanie's connecting to nature. I love that. And I love where you live, where you've got nature, exercise, and yoga. Thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. I'm gonna give you 25 points for all of those. That's really good. Really, really good. Thanks. So yeah, you've got tools. So I'm gonna close that poll and share our results. And the funny thing is, I'm gonna ask you, where's view details? Okay, so here we go. Sam, can you see those results? Or am I the only one seeing them?
So hold on, let me just.
And that's
No,
okay.
yeah, we're not able to see them yet.
So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to share with you what I've got because it's absolutely adorable. It created an adorable word cloud. And if you're knowing what a word cloud is, it's where you take all your answers and plop them into a grouping. Can you see that? So tools and skills that we have: bird watching and yoga, therapy, writing down stressors at the end of the day. I love that. Mindful activities. I like that time comes up 4 times, walk 3 times, music twice, exercise twice, and puppy came up twice. Gideon, did you type in twice? Or did somebody else go? It's okay if you did. It's okay if you did.
No, I didn't.
It's still it,
Thanks, Gideon. Food, tea, walking. I love it. I love all of the answers. Journaling, mindful, unhealthy. Interesting. Sometimes an unhealthy self-soothing mechanism comes in. Focus, office came up, breathing, and more.
Can I share one that I didn't get a chance to put down there, but I think I'd like to with everyone. Something that seems to work with me very well at my workplace as a correctional officer when times are stressful,
Mm-hmm.
and that is funny YouTube videos. Apparently, there's even a police department in, I believe it was Hong Kong, that the start of the shift, they actually got into laughing sessions that brought them into a better mood. They got the certain happy chemicals in them for the start of the shift, so they didn't leave the station miserable. And they found that the officers had a better stress reaction and with the day, started the day and throughout the shift.
I love that. I love that. You know, they do say, and I know laughter is the best medicine. There's so much about just really even putting a smile on your face that can actually change your physiology and your mood. So I love those ideas. See different things in different contexts. Thanks, Gideon. So now I'm going to ask all of you to take a moment and think about. I just thought I had a spelling mistake on there for a second. No, we're good. Wow, Wednesday. It feels like a Monday. How do you check in with yourself? How do you know if you're doing okay? Oh, and Crumb, I did create another poll. So you know what? I've got some ideas out there. How do you check in with yourself? And there might be other ways, but select as many as you think are applicable there. And what's missing? Isn't it interesting that on our cars, we have a whole bunch of different gauges to get a sense of how our car's doing? Fuel, battery life, engine temperature, tire pressure. Okay, my car is like not super new, so I think that's the extent of the things that I have. But newer cars, they have everything.
And Sherry?
Yeah.
I find it very important also to check in with other people and get some feedback, because there's sometimes that I don't see what other people are seeing.
Wow, that's huge, Gideon. I love that. And that takes a very vulnerable and brave person to get that feedback from other people. Yeah, I think that's helpful. So I'm just sharing here some of the ways that you all check in with yourself, which is a skill set, right? Knowing where you are in terms of your overall well-being. So many of you check on your energy levels. Yeah, that's a good one, right? You know when you're dragging your butt, and you can tell day to day what you sort of feel like. For me, it's also, I can see it in my eyes if I haven't slept well. The color, the shape, and at 54.8, I tell you, when I miss a good night's sleep, you can tell. It is very visible. I was talking to a 22-year-old the other day, and they said, "Oh my God, I only got 2 hours of sleep last night." And I'm looking at them like, "No, you look fabulous. Like, you don't look, if I only got 2 hours of sleep, you would know." It gets worse as you get older. I mean, worse in that sense, but better in many other sense. Just hope. Energy levels, checking in on your energy levels, finding a way to do that without judging yourself. Tie for number 2, emotional or mental scans. That's huge. How do you determine what the gauge is for your emotional capacity? That could be really subtle. And what about reflections where you go, huh? You know, version 40.5 of Sherry Lachine, when I checked in on myself and I'd say, "Hey, how am I doing?" I would answer, "I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm good." I didn't really know how to scan and reflect. And then if I did find that my tank was empty, well, what do I really need to do so that I can live my day-to-day, manage the stressors, raise my family, and more? So yeah, I think those are really good. Body-based check-ins, I love that too. Oh, your body is so smart. Being able to tap into and listen to your body is a skill set. And any other people feedback, I love that too. And I don't do a check-in, and I'm just going to add a comma yet. Being able to read your own dials and gauges and more can be a real great skill set for yourself and for the people around you, right? So I wanted to introduce or reintroduce you to another way to check in with you. And this one is sort of holistic in terms of how you feel, how you think, how you act. It's called the mental health continuum, and I stole it. Okay, I acquired it from the Department of National Defense. They came up with this a couple of decades ago as a way to figure out where are you in your well-being in terms of, again, how you feel, how you think, and how you act. And so I like to call this one a thermometer, a mental health thermometer. So who doesn't like a good thermometer, right? And the way it works is, well, we all have our own healthy, we all have our own good mental health, our way of moving through the day, managing stressors, taking care of ourselves and the people in our lives. Our mood, our behavior, our performance, our physical characteristics, they all seem in our category of healthy. Just like a real thermometer, you know, for physical, real thermometer, they're all real thermometers, just like a physical thermometer that determines your temperature, your body's temperature. This one can be a subjective one where you're like, yeah, that's pretty good for me. I'm healthy. Other people, or in terms of how they're thinking, feeling, and acting, can be healthy. Now, when that thermometer for your body goes from what, you get sort of a 98, get a little bit higher, 99, maybe moving into 100, we recognize that your body is reacting to something. Well, in the way we feel, think, and act, we oftentimes react to things. Think of a time when someone asked you a question about what you were doing and you snapped at them. Think about your time that your kids were asking, there's nothing in the fridge. And you're like, oh, will you buy the groceries? Right? This kind of snapping, reacting, which is natural. It's normal. It's you trying to let go and feel what you're feeling. But it could be an indicator. It could be that your gas tank is declining. We're not judging ourselves or other people for being in these reacting modes. But I got to tell you that the longer we stay in those reaction modes without taking care of ourselves to move us back into that healthy mode, the more likely we start to slide maybe over into the orange, which could be an injury, or illness, which could be a diagnosable mental illness or condition. So the idea on this is it's not about judgment. It's not about diagnosing. It's about awareness. And there are some days, especially in the not great days, when I was exhausted and stressed out, I'd move through this continuum almost, it felt like on a daily basis. It made the day-to-day harder. So being able to tap in and check in on yourself, and maybe that is energy levels, your body check-in, your emotional capacity. And then realizing if you're yellow, orange, or red, what you need to do to help bring yourself back to green. What do you think of that as a tool, as a mental health thermometer for you? Is that something that maybe you can start integrating in a check-in? Yeah. You know, and the interesting thing here too is you can use it to kind of check in with other people. Just like Gideon was talking about, you know, other people can also be an indicator of how we're doing. And maybe they can let you know, according to the thermometer, how things are sort of perceived as happening with your feelings, thoughts, and behaviors. Not intended to be a judgment or a label. It's intended to be help. So I've added here too, just in terms of maybe diving a little bit deeper, what does healthy look like? We have healthy reactions. We have healthy perspectives, our attitudes and behaviors. We maybe are taking care of ourselves more and more in terms of our bodies. When we're reacting, that's when we're reacting to stressors in a way that may not be in our best interest. I much prefer when this version of Sherry reacts to stressors with a little more calm and clarity and a lot less trigger. Anyone here ever been triggered by something? Yeah, right. I know. Silly question, but the idea here is, yeah, all the time, Pam. I got you. So that's maybe those quick reactions and trying to figure out a way that we can manage those triggers and move through challenges, adversity, and stress, because it is everywhere. You deserve a life that you love, and you deserve a you that can manage these reactions and surf them through as opposed to having them take over. So that injury could be more of a prolonged impairment. If you've ever felt like you're just coping, or in survival mode, that could be that you're deep in that sort of orange level. No judgment there. Many of us have been there, if not all of us, trying to figure out the steps to bring yourself back through. Because what we've got here today in our healthcare system, not the self-healthcare system, but our healthcare system is one that waits till you're ill. Our healthcare system waits until there's an illness or a diagnosis or a pill required. And I got to tell you, I don't know if that's okay. So who's responsible for staying out of the red? Who's responsible for understanding how to take care of our well-being? Well, that's this guy, right? We have the ultimate control over our next steps. And I gotta say too, where's the damn manual? Where's the manual for taking care of ourselves? Yeah, that's just like parenting. I was like, where's the damn manual for parenting? That didn't exist either, at least I don't think. Or at least the evaluation report. I did want an evaluation as a parent at some point. I'm like somebody, that didn't exist. I don't know if it's a good idea though. I'm not sure. Okay. So one of the things I like to also know is, yes, how to check in on yourself, but then also to know when there is when the orange is there. And so I like to think of this back to our car situation is like when our check engine light comes on in our car. Who here's ever seen that happen in your car? Yeah, right. And so can I ask you, what do you do with your car? Anyone want to share? It's a 50-pointer. If you tell me what you do when you see the check engine light on in your car, I give you 50 points.
Well, you would take it to a mechanic.
Yes, that sounds like a great
But
idea.
I think in this case, depending, a lot of us may go, oh, it's just a light that is, I'll take care of it later, and we put that later onto later into later, and then we never deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds sort of like how we manage our health too sometimes, right?
I think for a car, you do your maintenance way better on a vehicle than your own self, on your own body, right?
Yeah.
You you rely on that car, and so you're always on top of it, doing your maintenance, your oil changes, checking your tires and that. You don't do that for your own body. And we need our body and our mental health to keep going, right? And we don't give it the same consideration as we do a vehicle or other stuff we maintain.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? We'll take better care of our car than we take care of ourselves. Yikes, eh? It's such a,
That's how I feel though, some days, you just keep pushing and pushing and pushing yourself, right? It'll get better. I'll get through this, right? And then all of a sudden you're in that zone that's not healthy anymore.
yeah. Yeah,
Can I
that's just,
share? I think there's an interesting perspective there that she touched on. It's like that car is used to get us to do our immediate errands, to get us to work. It has to provide, have that income coming in. So it's one of the priorities we give. And then our own body, because if we miss, sort of treat ourselves, and, we might eat the wrong thing or don't exercise, we don't see that happening to our bodies until the doctor actually tells us you got to change, and we're forced to change. But until that, when you see the red light coming on, maybe high blood pressure, I'll take care of it, and we put it off to the side.
right. Well said. Great insights, because I feel that you're not alone. I feel that oftentimes we'll take care of maybe our cars or other people more than we will take care of ourselves, especially in caring professions, and leaders. If you're an educator, I know there's some educators on this call.
I'm a support person, so
Your
that
support,
same kind of personality, right?
right,
Help others, right? You always help others before you help yourself.
right. Well, and the narrative of the oxygen mask, which I'm kind of done with. It's good. It's definitely, I'm with you. It's good, but I'm kind of done with the subtlety of that narrative. And let me explain. Yes, we need to take care of ourselves first, but the subtle narrative of oxygen mask is the plane is going down, right? Like it's a crisis. It's something is happening that is outside of your control. Now it's time to take care of you. And I'm like, screw that. Right. And I know we're told this, and someone would tell me this as I was raising kids. No, you got to take care of yourself first. And I'm like, I'm like, yeah, sure. But I never actioned that as something that really made sense to me. I was programmed different. And many of us in helping professions, we adhere to that narrative that other people come first. And maybe it's time to start baking in, accepting with guilt-free, a guilt-free narrative. That's seriously prioritizing ourselves, putting ourselves on our list of things to do, is non-negotiable. If you want to do the work that you do, it is a non-negotiable. And do we need a new narrative? Do we need a new manual? Yeah, we do. Because I am tired of the orange-red situation. Enough. Look at me. No, I've had a day, people. I have had a day already. So the idea, and I want you to know you deserve care, especially in the work that you do. So Kendra, I love that permission to rest. Yeah, it's no longer, I'll sleep when I'm dead. It's permission to rest. And then not only do we give ourselves permission, we give each other permission. And that to me is compassion and grace as well. So I love that in there, you know, Eva, you're saying, try to assess, what do I hear? How's a vehicle performing? Like all of that stuff, which is interesting because I would also, that would be for me too. What do I hear? How do I feel? Like if we're, you know, think about how we're taking care of our car, think about ourselves. How do we really check in with ourselves? How do you really listen to your body, your feelings? It's a skill set. And many of us haven't learned that yet. That's okay. So I'm going to talk about some of the ways that we can do that. We've got a manual. We've created a manual to try and help build that. And Kendra, you're also saying my telltale for being in the orange is how fast I want to reply to an email. If I'm wanting to answer right away, I sit back and think and give it 24 hours. Oh, there's something about that pause. You could pause almost anything. I say almost anything because I did speak with some surgeons who said there's moments where they're not allowed to pause. If things are happening, you got to deal with it. But there's, you know, for many of us, let me pause before I react. Let me pause before I engage. There's a lot of cool things you can do there. So I think it's really important to even pay attention to the way you address this check engine light. Going right to the mechanic, check in with yourself when you have something going on. Do you go right to the doctor? Do you go right to, hey, maybe finding information about how do you take care of yourself? Because I'm a reformed putting tape over check engine light person. I used to put tape over, ignore it. I had magical thinking that if there was no smoke, no clanging, we're okay. Taking care of you is your ultimate. It's got to fit into our everyday. It's got to be something like brushing your teeth or breathing. It is something that maybe we need a new instruction booklet for taking care of ourselves. So that green, yellow is something that we can manage. Yellow, orange, we understand and know where to go, what to do. And red, we can keep ourselves to the best of our ability away from that red, but know what we need to do when we're in there, because we do at times get there.
Sherry,
Yeah.
why do you think it's so natural to care for your family, to care for your students or whatever context, to care for your car, but so unnatural to care for ourselves? Like, I have a small group we're discussing, and it's like now we're like, why didn't I do that? Or I need to do this. And I don't know, is it an age thing? Is it how you were brought up? I mean, in your opinion. I remember going to a doctor's appointment and the doctor said, well, what do you do for you? And I was in the height of raising children, caring for parents.
Yeah.
And I didn't have an answer. And I was embarrassed. And I went home and started thinking about that. Like, because every example I gave, he's like, nope, that's for your family. Like, I'm going to hockey. Nope, that's for your family, you know? So I don't know your take on why it's so unnatural to care for the very being that we are.
I love that question, Stephanie. And I think it's a foundational piece because first of all, we're programmable humans. Like we're very susceptible to our culture, our society, the messages that we had when we were kids. And I think there's a lot of messaging that we have embedded in the way that we walk our walk or talk our talk. And so, you know, even I heard from a professional who said that one of the things they do to kind of break the mold of the narrative of taking care of yourself is selfish giving to others always is the way to go, right? As a human, which we need each other. So I get that. But she said she wanted to break that cycle. And so the way she started to do it was small things with her children. She was shopping, and usually when they're shopping, she'd say to the kids, well, get something that you'd like, get something for you, just, like a little treat or something. And then she started modeling, well, what does mommy need right now? What does mommy want right now? She needs a little something. And she started doing, she'd be like, oh, you got a treat. I'm going to get myself something too. And then she modeled it at home. So I need my hour. My hour is for me so I can recharge, so I can be fully here with you and play with you and content. And so she had to break the mold of an old narrative. I think there's a lot of that. I also think we get a helper's high. It's really, I'm going to use the word, it's almost spiritual when you can help other people and, see them on a good path. I think there's a lot of different variables. Those are the ones that come to me. I've done a lot of introspection for myself in terms of, why do I love this work of skills and tools around elevating our own mental health? Well, first of all, it's selfish for me. I get to learn every time I get to do this. Yay. But then it's also, I want a world that's safer. I want a world where people are able to manage stressors, to be more resilient, to be more compassionate. And so I do that work so that the people around me are more safe, healthy. So there's a lot of different reasons. What do you think of those there? And then I'll go over to you, Gideon. Stephanie, what are you thinking? And group. Yeah. And maybe I'm going to leave it at this. We humans are so hardwired to connect. We need each other. Like, we need each other in our bones. That's why solitary confinement is torture. And so we inherently know that it is the greater good in the collective to help each other. And when we're doing well, and we're feeling, thinking, and acting in a way that is healthy, not only are we better helpers, but people feel that. They just feel it, and they get more aligned with feeling, thinking, and behaving in a way that's healthy. So yeah, sitting there reading that book, taking care of you, because you're helping everybody around you. That's what you're doing. Okay, over to Gideon.
Hi there. I think there's also givers and takers. And so, naturally, if you're a caring individual and you think of others first, you'd be kind of considered a caregiver, and think of, other people first and their needs. And then there's some people that seem to be just takers. They suck the emotional life out of you. Now, I only say that from like a correctional standpoint, where there's some people that manipulate you, and they couldn't care, if you were dying, to give first aid. Not everyone's wired and built that way, but one has to look at how people are actually their their self-interest. Are they a caring individual, or are they, kind of exploiting others and their weakness?
Yeah. Oh, and Gideon, thank you for that. This narrative of givers and takers. The way that I, am trying to explore this, as we try and be as, mentally healthy as possible, sometimes that helps to see those behaviors. I think, we talked about at the beginning, what do we want to talk about? Emotional agility, managing stress, and boundaries. Being able to see people that are givers and takers, and to be able to understand your boundary around, especially takers, is really important. Now, it's hard with your role. If you're working with, people who are constantly taking, that takes a toll. I think the idea here is recognizing that people are who they are where they are, and what are we going to do about it? That's the only control we have, is over this guy. We have no control over anyone else. And I'm saying that as an important concept, but also a hard one to digest, because people will still be doing the people thing, and takers will still be doing the taking, and will still potentially get impacted by that. So you know what, with that narrative of those three things that we wanted to focus on, managing stress, emotions, as well as boundaries, many of you have seen this before, but the more you see it, the more maybe it'll be your new manual for next steps and help. And Sam, if you can plop in, do you have the link for that journal that we have? We've got this PDF journal that you can download. It's $5. Like, I mean, we had to pay for a little bit of it. So if you can download that, you can use that journal as a reminder of how to build your manual and your next step and how to check in with yourself. But I got to tell you, based on a lot of the things that I've heard from thousands of people, in order to help other people, yes, we've got to start with ourselves. So the narrative in our head that we're important and we need to take care of ourselves. Where do we start? Well, clearly, you feel like you're sliding that yellow, orange, if not red. Start with your body. It's something that we can have some control over. Three main things. Yeah, there's more. But the three main things, if you can start looking at your movement, how you're moving your body, movement is medicine. Nutrition, how you fuel your body, just like your car. I saw that in the chat. You know, are you giving it good fuel, yucky fuel, and more? You're like changing the oil, not changing the oil. It matters. Oh, that's for non-electric vehicles. Okay, that's a new narrative. And sleep. Sleeping and quality sleep is an important aspect to our overall health. So when in doubt, yellow, orange, start with your body. I'm hoping that gives you some relief. The idea being, things are getting overwhelming. Maybe I'm ruminating. Maybe there's a lot going on. Lean into taking care of your body as a first step, and know and pat yourself on the back that you're doing the steps to build the foundation for you. The other piece that even I had a therapy session this morning. It went really well. Yeah, I got a little messy. If you know me, I get messy. We talked about nervous system care. That's what I think is the crux of a lot of our stress management, a lot of our emotional reactions, is the fact that we are fundamentally walking this earth trying to keep ourselves safe. And for many of us, it's a background process that takes over. It's called our nervous system. If you heard of fight, flight, freeze, you are constantly doing fight, flight, freeze, checking, assessing, checking, assessing. And many of us are constantly in that state. So can you imagine? Our cortisol levels are like a boo. We don't know because we're managing, surviving. We're in orange. Yeah, I'm doing fine. I'm fine. Don't ask. I'm fine. Right? Orange. And one other thing happens. Dunk. Right? That could be the stressor. That's the tipping point. So daily management and maintenance of your nervous system, that's your new normal. So my therapist and I were talking about, well, what do you do? And I'm like, okay, I go for walks and I do deep breath work. I saw breath work come up. Oh yeah, it's a good biohack. It's not just, yeah, I'm okay. Everything's fine. No, it's actually the best biohack to get yourself out of that stress response. Breath work, walking. Tell yourself you're safe. Tell yourself, oh, because you're programmable. Tell yourself you're worthy of care. Yeah. Some people call that kind of manifestation stuff. Yeah, you're programming yourself. Notice things. Slow down. You're doing that for your nervous system. It's like a muscle that you're working. And for 54.8 years, I wasn't really working on my nervous system. So I was there feeling. There are other things too that you can do. The noticing, hugging yourself Or if you have people in your life, hug your people. It's called co-regulating. You're helping each other's nervous system feel safe. Okay, only hug the people that you feel safe with, gotta say, and ask for permission. You know what I'm talking about, all of that. But the idea is time to focus on your nervous system. It's your new normal, and it's a daily maintenance. You can even combine it with brushing your teeth. You're brushing your teeth, paying attention to your nervous system. Try and listen to it, just like that check engine light, like that gauge. Where am I? And you'll get better and better at it. You want to be able to manage stress? Start understanding your nervous system. And then the top of that stack, you want to think yourself better. You want to be able to shift your perspective. You want to be able to figure out how to stop ruminating. Yeah, build from the bottom up. And that emotional work, it gets a little bit easier, more tangible. Right? Because the idea here is our thoughts and feelings, well, they're what make us. That navigate us through the world. They shift our perspective. And things like feelings are things that can be surfed. Meaning, you have a feeling or a sensation, just pay attention to it. It takes about 90 seconds before you can digest it. But if we're not digesting it purposefully, using our nervous system, we're actually holding on to it. So learning these tools, huge, building them little bit by little bit with your new manual, starting with your body, paying attention to your nervous system, your safety system, and then start to listen to the thoughts and the feelings. We all have that itty bitty shitty committee, the thing that squirts the thoughts in our heads that aren't helping us. Change them, please. And it could take time. I know I still have some of the, well, I got stuff going on in my life that still squirts in my head and lives there rent free. But it's about knowing, okay, the tools and the techniques, starting with your body, working on your nervous system. Okay, that's a stack. But your stack doesn't exist in isolation. Your stack also requires other people. And so when we're around other people, each part of our stack is engaged, especially our nervous system. So you want to talk about boundaries? Start by checking in with yourself. Where are you? Maybe on the scale, that thermometer. Maybe if you've got a check engine light going on in terms of your body, nervous system, emotions. Maybe that's not the right time to engage. That's a boundary. Or if you see someone in orange coming towards you, coming all angry, aggressive, agitated, oh, maybe that's a good time for a boundary. So collect some boundary phrases. Things like, I'm going to validate that person. Hey, I see you're really upset. Maybe right now is not the right time to have this conversation. I do want to chat with you about it. Let's find another time. Like, pause that stuff. Slow it down. And if you want to do that, here's a secret hack. Validate the person first. I see what's happening. I see this is really important. Now's not the right time. Anyone here using AI? A little artificial intelligence? Yeah. All of it. Okay, you're in the educations. It's so controversial. But the idea here is if you're looking for boundary phrases, AI might be your friend. Right? Look for different ways that you can stuff your pockets with boundary phrases. And you can put up a boundary more readily, easier when you are doing the work on that left side of your stack, right? How are you sleeping? And if for some reason you feel emotionally, heightened, I was going to use the word frayed, that frayed rope kind of feeling, then lean into your body, take care of your body, your nervous system, and your emotions. And then you can actually put boundaries out better. But some days are not that day. Focusing on yourself, pausing, can be your fundamental boundary. You deserve care. All right, with that, I'm hoping that you can kind of see when it comes to stress management, when it comes to emotional health, and when it comes to putting up boundaries, starting with you and building these key components, this new manual might be a way that you can have any conversation you've ever wanted, manage conflict like never before, be super present in your life and the lives of the people around you. It starts with you. Because I also believe that we can enjoy this life thing and find some relief. And if we are the only ones that we have control over, then why don't we do that? And then watch how it filters out, because it does. I've seen it. There's that self-care journal as well. I love this because it helps remind us we are adult learners. And adult learners, I gotta ask y'all, do you remember everything? No, no. So reminders like a journal, something to flip through. This journal has, oh, and I meant to pull out one, but it has the thermometer throughout. It has ideas about each element of the stack and more. What does it look like? What can you do? And an opportunity for reflection so that further enhances your learning. So there is that for you, because I hope and I want you to have a life that you love. What we're going to do going forward in these drop-ins is I want you to choose the topic. If you are interested, every month we're going to have a drop-in. Every month we're going to talk about particular challenges and skill sets. So I'm going to ask you, through a poll, what topics. And so what I did was I just put down a bunch of different topics that have come up in the past. If you can select, that will help us with the next drop in, what we're going to focus on, and we're going to dive right in. This was the first of, I'm hoping, many opportunities just to come, bring your questions and ideas, find out ways that you can navigate this life thing. And yeah, I'm going to remind you of the stack, of course, but then we're going to get to real practical implementation of each piece. There's that, and that. Keep answering those topics for next time. And then Sam, could you put from our website, like our upcoming courses and things that we've got? We've got a couple of months of courses, but we're going to put more up there. Of course, there's these free drop-ins. We have free other sessions. If you're on our social media, we'll put some more of them out there, but we've got mental health first aid, and we've got the working mind. Mental health first aid is all about, hey, I see that someone else is in that yellow, orange, maybe even red. What do I do? How do I help people? And we practice, because adult learning, we need to practice. And then the working mind is a little bit more of in their workplace situation. How do I check into myself? How do I check in on others? But then also, how do I debrief? How do I manage crisis moments and more? These are not one and done. We're elevating our skill set because, of course, as a collective, the more that we do, the more compassionate we're going to be, the more empathy, the more productive we're going to be, the better we're going to be at our job, and the more we're going to be able to support each other. So what did we come up with? Okay, a lot. Managing stress and burnout, working with thoughts and emotions, body and nervous system care. Yeah, resilience and hope. Yeah, care for you as you care for others. And I like the smallest one was building a self-care routine. Doesn't that reflect, again, where we are? Right? Let's care for others before we care for ourselves. Flipping the narrative. Any questions or thoughts? Sam, thank you for putting that out there. Also put down a 30-minute meeting. If anybody wants to just connect for free, like for free, you know, just connect. We're gonna chat and talk about maybe how do we bring some of these courses? How do we maybe make this drop-in better and better? Maybe you invite other people to the drop-in. What do you need? Join me for like 30 minutes and we can chat about that. I see Sam working in the background, making that happen. Magic. Thank you. And with that, then, as you're thinking about questions, I do want to thank everybody. Thank you for being here. You know, I see, I recognize many names, not all, but I'm just so thankful that you're here. Please take care of you. You deserve care. Thank you. Mwah, 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 mwah. Eva, thank you. Stephanie and friend. Mwah. I see you. Gideon, thank you. Pam, thank you so much for your comments there. Everyone else too. I really, really appreciate you.
Thank you, and take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. As always, you rock, Sherry. Love you.
I love you too. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Sherry.
Thank you.
You. Take care of you. Oh, I shared results later. That was good. Bye, Stephanie. I'll see you in July. Oh, yeah, we'll talk. We'll have to talk about that. Yeah. Go Wolves. Thanks, Joanne. Thanks, Joan. Thanks, Gideon. Thanks, Sam. All right. And with that, bye, Gideon. Thank you so much. Good luck with your pup. We'll see you again. Bye, Joanne. Thanks for being here. I just removed everybody. I was like, bah, bah, bah.